Hi everybody, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. I'm doing really well. I've picked up I've got lots of work coming up again. We're in the spring racing carnival, horse racing. Whatever you think of it, there's lots of money involved. So I've got some work coming up. I'm working Melbourne Cup Day, which is a public holiday here in Melbourne. So that means good money. And I'm working Thursday. Anyway, so I've got some shifts coming up. But look, yesterday I did a video about Hillsong filing a defence against the whistleblower who has alleged some funny dealings happening with their money. But as you know, Brian Houston has had some criminal charges laid against him and had a first court appearance. Now, he's been in the US, touring the US, preaching, but he's back home now. So the Sydney Morning Herald, it says, Houston's comeback with the True Believers. Disgraced but defiant Hillsong celebrity preachers Bobby and Brian Houston are hitching plans for their comeback after returning to Sydney from a fire and brimstone tour of America's mega churches. The homecoming is ahead of Brian Houston's court appearance in December to defend criminal charges he filed. To defend criminal charges that he failed to report his pedophile father, the late evangelist Frank Houston, to police. The Houstons, who in September listed their multi-million-dollar home of nearly 30 years in Glenhaven to reduce debt after being sacked from Hillsong when an inquiry found Brian allegedly breached church conduct codes, going back to where it all started, inviting their true believers to an undisclosed venue in Sydney's Hills District for an evening with Brian and Bobby on November 2. It promises to be a fascinating night if Brian Houston's recent sermons in America are any indication. Houston was the headline act at his good friend Pastor John Lindel's James River Church in southwest Missouri during his American tour. The mega church attracts up to 12,000 worshippers every weekend. Famous within the evangelical community for its healings were parishioners with inoperable brain cancer, deafness, muscle tears, rotator cuff injuries, migraines, and nerve injuries are miraculously healed through the Holy Spirit. It was Houston who took the center stage pulpit and told the gathering about his own trials and tribulations. He's talking about it. An inheritance on earth may sound like a good idea. My parents financially, what I inherited was small, but the reality is it also came through my father with baggage. Because when I was 45 years of age, now 24 years ago, I found out that my father many years before that, in the 60s and 70s, was a pedophile. Houston declared to the back church. It was the most shocking, crushing news I've ever had in my life. And the sad thing is, all these years on, I'm 68 and I'm still dealing with things which I inherited, not through any of my own. So inheritance can come with its all sorts of baggage. Houston 68 did not specify the details of the criminal charges, which he pleaded not guilty to in March. But a fortnight ago, he asked Instagram followers to pray for him. As he prepares to fight allegations, he concealed his father's child essay. Houston is set to face a special fixture hearing for at least 3 weeks in December. In February, he stepped aside from all church activities while he defended the charges, having already stepped aside as a director of all Hillsong boards in September last year. So that's his post there. In March, he announced his resignation as global senior pastor from an internal investigation found he had breached the church moral code in his behaviour towards two women. His replacement, long-term friend, Pastor Phil Dooley, said the alleged first incident involved a female church minister who quit after she made a complaint about an inappropriate text message from Houston 10 years ago. It was along the lines of, "If I was with you, I'd like to kiss and cuddle you," words of that nature, Pastor Dooley said. Houston reportedly paid the woman several months' salary to compensate her. The second alleged incident followed complaints from a woman who attended Hillsong's annual church conference at Homebush in 2019, who ended up having Houston in her hotel room afterwards for 40 minutes. Houston denied he engaged in any sexual activity. On both occasions, the alleged misconduct, the church reported the senior pastor had been under the influence of either alcohol or sleeping tablets. Shortly after Houston's resignation, his wife, Bobby, was made redundant from the church. She co-founded with her husband in the Hills District nearly 40 years ago. So there you go. So there's a meet. There's a on the 2nd of November is an evening with Brian and Bobby Houston, an undisclosed location. They've just returned from the US, where he's done a whole heap of work. And then, interestingly enough, he has to go to court in December for 3 weeks to deal with these charges. As I said, it came out of the Royal Commission into Institutional Child SA that was conducted by the government. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. As I said, as somebody that works with children in the church, it is our protocols are very, very strict now. I mean, they've always been strict, but it's even in the schools, everybody. If you want to work with children here, you have to jump through lots and lots of hoops in order to protect them. But I want to thank you. Anyway, I'd be interested to see what you would like to think. I wonder whether there's a charge. It doesn't say how much it's going to cost. Would you pay? What would you do? As I said, that's all kept secret. But I wonder whether he's going to try and start another church. It'll be very interesting to see what happens there. So thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you again next time. Bye for now.